Hi, I'm William, and this is my project, Finding Liminality in the Datafication Dystopia. So, just to recap, my project touches upon two aspects. The first one is the datafication, which is the digital tracking and privacy issues in our world of digitalization. And the second aspect I want to touch upon is liminality, which is a more general concept of these viral Puko ideas or the liminal space ideas. So essentially, my project tries to explore the concept of liminality and also to build a physical and digital liminal space for people to retreat and reflect on our dystopian world of datafication. So this is my project design, the sketch of my project, and it is also how I foresee my project to be presented in its final version. So as you can see, it consists of two spaces, the virtual space on the left and the physical space on the right. The physical space is an installation, and the virtual space is designed in Unity. And these two spaces actually are perfectly synchronized. So each thing in the virtual space is mapped to another thing in the physical space. So the project consists of three parts. First, the physical liminal space installation, which is an installation with various display screens, actually 3 display screens with Arduino and LEDs, which is the sketch on the right. And it also consists of a virtual liminal space render, which is modeled in Blender and further imported into Unity for real-time lighting effects. And these two spaces are, as I said before, perfectly synchronized. And to add some user interactions into it, the user, when he is in the installation, he will actually be projected into the virtual space. And the projection will be a flat and monochromatic body projection. So as you can see here, there are 3 monitors in the physical space. And on each of these monitors, it will display one perspective of the virtual room. So we'll see later. About the virtual space, the design are as this. So it is modeled in Blender, and this is a Blender rendered image, and in Unity it will be slightly different. So this is the virtual space, and on the right, it shows, as you can see, there are 3 camera views, and these 3 camera views are what is mentioned before, the 3 perspectives of the same virtual room. So if we go back to the last slide, you can see in the virtual space, there are 3 cameras, each of them positioning at a different place and a different angle into the center of the room. And in the physical space, there are actually 3 cameras, 3 cameras corresponding to the 3 virtual cameras. So these 3 webcams will be capturing the actual user in the physical space. And the shadow, or to say the flat projection of the user, will be then in the virtual space. So when the user moves to the right in the physical space, the shadow will also move to the right in the virtual space. And these two should be perfectly synchronized. So you could imagine that when the user are in the installation, he or she will be able to see that he or she is moving in this virtual space, in the physical space and the virtual space from these monitors. And because my project involves a lot of synchronization, testing the synchronization is a big part of my project. And the first thing is to synchronize the LED and lighting, the LED lighting of my virtual space and the physical space. So as you can see, the hue of the lighting in Unity, and also which is the lighting in the virtual space, and also the LED lighting, the hue of the LED lighting, which is the lighting in the physical space, are perfectly synchronized. And just to play it again, you can also see that the brightness is synchronized. So the brightness change is currently triggered by a mouse function, but in the final version, I would like it to be triggered by some user movement. So the breathing effect could be triggered by some probably more radical user body movements, and these 2 lighting changes will be synchronized. So the brightness of the lighting in the Unity space and also the lighting of the LEDs in the physical space will be perfectly synchronized. as shown here. Yeah. And on the right side, it actually shows the synchronization of the user movement. So you can see that I use 3 chairs in the physical space to represent the 3 pedestals in my virtual space. And as I move to the right, the body projection is also moving to the right. And if I go to the back, the body projection is at the back of the virtual space. So what I want to do here is that actually change the distance of the canvas. So when I move back from the webcam in the physical space, the program actually calculates the distance between my 2 shoulders and the nose, and it uses it as a ratio to calculate my distance to the camera. And with that ratio, it moves the canvas in unity. So that you could imagine if the user are moving behind one of these pedestals, the canvas will actually move behind the pedestals, so that it will show us that for example, the leg will be behind one of the pedestals, and it will be fully covered, and you will not be able to see it, just as it is in a physical space. And as you can see here, the effect of the body projection is good, but sometimes the canvas is moving very relentlessly, and that is given the limitation of the body pics, the algorithm I've been using. On facing multiple people, it is not performing so well, and some of the future solutions could be, first is to limit only 1 person into my installation, because typically an liminal space only welcomes 1 person. Thus, limiting the user of my project to 1 person sure sounds reasonable. Another thing to do is to actually find some technical solutions to it, and to see whether body pics could only filter out 1 person. And that will be some of my future steps. So about my future steps, I also made a Gantt chart to plan for my future steps. The blue parts are the ones I've already done, the green parts are what I have been doing, and the purple parts are what I plan to do in the future. So currently I've been preparing the material list, and also I've gonna test the cameras and monitors, because I have 3 cameras and 3 monitors. Then the synchronizations, the collaboration of these 3 cameras and monitors are a crucial thing to test. And later, because I have 3 monitors in my installation, one of them is a retro style monitor, which I use a CRT monitor. And these monitors could be very complex to set up, so I'm gonna dedicate some time to setting up such a monitor. And in my virtual space, there's actually one glitched Buddha head. The glitch effect is intended, but I want to make it more cool. So I would like to add some animated effects for the glitch effect, and I'm gonna also dedicate some time to it. And for the 3 monitors, another one will be a small monitor, a Raspberry style monitor. And such a monitor will also need to be set up. And in my virtual space, the walls are actually tiled. So I'm gonna test the tiled wallpaper in a real installation and see the level of immersion it could bring to such installation. And if the result turns out well, then the final version of my project is gonna have these tiled wallpapers in the real physical space. And approaching the later stages of the project, I'm gonna set up my whole installation in a designated room, and to set up the physical spaces and to tune the virtual space according to physical setup. Because it's gonna be there are gonna be more physical restrictions in the setting up process, then I have to tune the virtual space according to that and to synchronize it perfectly. And lastly, it will be the final presentation. Yeah, and lastly, let me show you the material list I've been preparing. So the big things this project needs will be 3 monitors, 1 regular monitor, 1 retro style monitor, and 1 Raspberry style monitor, which is just a small screen. And then there will be 3 pedestals and LEDs and decorations. So the decorations will include tin foils, which will be metaphoring the mirror idea of Michel Foucault, and also the tile wallpaper to possibly boost immersion, monstera plant to just decorate the installation and to make it more liminal, and the yellow cable arranged cover, which is synchronized with my virtual space, and it is designed to show the unknown privacy hack of the technology. Yeah, and that is my material list, and it's gonna be keep updating because new ideas will pop up as I set up the space in the physical space. And that is basically my project and my future steps for my project. And thank you for listening.